Hello, friends. Welcome to Leadership Go once again with the Brainy leadership team, where we discuss leadership that has to do with integrity and skill. So, all our episodes, we are trying to talk about skills that can help every leader lead successfully, and also hammer on the need for integrity in the area of leadership. On our last episode, we had our guest with us, Mr. Clifford, who enlightened us a lot on what we mean by change in the context of leadership. Today, he's here with us again, and he's going to also talk to us about a different aspect of leadership. And I believe all these things are important because they shape our lives every now and then, especially considering the fact that we are leaders. And like I always say, you are a leader yourself. You don't have to hold a position, even though it matters. But the true issue is that you lead yourself first before lead other people. So if not for anything, you're a leader of yourself. That's amazing. So Mr. Clifford, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Today
you,
to
Thank you very much.
our episode. So today we want to look at something that I think has been going on in leadership and even in personal lives. I want to look at goals and processes. Goals and processes. Just like you go to a factory, at the end of the day, let's say Nestle, and one of the products they produce is cowbell. So at the end of the day, they have a package, how it should be done in mind, or a goal in mind, written down and all. But then the product has to go through something before it gets there. We want to understand that in the context of leadership. So, but we want to take it in two folds. First of all, when we say goals, what does goals mean? And what is the difference between a vision and a goal at all?
With goals, when you read a lot about research, it is simply defined as an objective someone wants to achieve.
Okay.
That's all that it is. Some end that someone wants to achieve. That's the meaning of a goal. And then, like you were talking about vision. Visions are much broader and grandiose.
Okay.
So visions are the should I say the big pieces.
Okay.
But goals are what you have to do to achieve the visions. Yeah, so that's what I think it's about.
If I take the concept of mathematics, I can say goals are subset of visions.
Exactly.
So vision is the broader picture, and then the goals are
That's a perfect
subset.
Yeah.
Which means that every goal aims at a vision.
Yes. So maybe their goal in a year is to produce about, let's say, I don't know, maybe any number, let's say 1,000. Yeah. But there's a vision that drives that goal.
Okay.
Maybe they want to save the country with respect or by giving quality products. One of their products could be they make coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make coffee. So one of their goals could be coffee. So that goal is geared towards the bigger vision of serving the people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's amazing. Now, so before we come to the second term, which is the processes, is there a need at all for there to be an achievement for every goal set? Okay. If I set a goal or if I set goals, why is it important to have it achieved?
Exactly. No, let's not even talk about the having it achieved.
Okay.
But goals themselves.
Okay.
Why is it important to have goals?
Okay. Let's take that one.
Yes, you'd always find people who are goal driven or goal oriented, and you also find individuals who don't have goals at all. More than 1,000 researchers, you can search it, I've actually been reading about them.
Wow.
More than 1,000 researchers have stated that individuals, or should I say companies or whatever, who have stated clear goals, clear and challenging goals, outperform those who have vague and unclear goals and unchallenging goals.
Wow.
So one of the things goals does, it boosts your motivation.
Wow.
Or when you set a goal, you have a criteria with which you measure your progress to. But let's say that the whole day, 24 hours, you don't have any goal. What are you? So what are you measuring? What are you? What are you using to measure your progress? And are you even if you measure your progress to what end? So goals drive motivation. Goals are one of them. There are a lot of motivation theories in psychology. I'm a psychologist. There are a lot of motivation theories in psychology. One of the motivation theories is goal setting. Goal setting theory is one of the factors that motivate behavior. So when you go to any organization, usually they have goals for the employees. Those goals, they are just the end, but the goals drive the behavior. They make everyone know what we are working towards and why.
Okay.
Yes, that's why they're important.
Just thinking about achievements even wrong in the place, we first have to understand what goals really are and why even should we set goals. Amazing. And you just mentioned that it's boost your motivation as an individual. I think it's a key I have really embraced because, like you said, if it's on daily basis as well, then it means that goals are actually time bound and must be pursued on daily basis to achieve the product goal. Now I want us to consider the second part of our discussion today. If we now have goals, we understand what goals are, how it's related to vision, and why the need for goals and achievement. Now, between the goal and the achievement, I know something will have to happen before you achieve your goal at the end of the day, which I have titled processes. What do you have to say about that? What do you have to say about when a goal is set and when it's achieved? What goes on? What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think that goals and the processes are like two sides of a coin.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because you cannot determine processes without first having a goal. And when you have the goal without the processes, the goal remains a goal in its idealistic form. So let's say you cannot just say you want to start working out without having a goal of having or getting in shape. But the goal of getting in shape should actually suggest the process of how to get there.
Wow.
So they are like two sides of a coin. You have a goal, you must have a process to attain the goal. But you cannot have a process without a goal.
Okay.
So they complement each other. Yes. And when you set a goal, between your current state and your desired state, whatever happens between that gap is the process.
Yes. Between your current state and your desired state,
whatever happens
in between is the process.
Exactly.
And you made a certain profound statement. I can't quote exactly what you said, but I can paraphrase that. Your goals will determine your processes.
Yes.
So if you set a goal, for example, and you use working out as an example. So you set a goal of working out. At the end of the day, maybe you want to build your muscles or you want to do something to your body, getting back in shape. And how you desire your body to be will tell what you should do in the workout.
Exactly.
Wow.
Or even what you should do. If you want to build your body and you go and sit in a classroom that teaches how to do some other thing, that wouldn't get you to benefits. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So how real should the process look like? How real is it that we know? Okay, so I have a goal. We are still sticking to the example. I have a goal to work out to get my body back in shape or something, and so I know I have to do this and this and that. But how real will it be? Or even let's come to leadership on individual levels. I set a target for myself for 1 year or 5 years, as long as I can set, and I break it into goals. And then within these goals, I know that I have to do this and that as the processes to get there because of the goal I've set. But how realistic is the goal?
Wait, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. When people set goals, most of the time they don't get realistic about the process.
Okay.
Because you might set a goal, but achieving the goal is in the process. It's when you begin to work, that's when, no matter how insignificant the action might seem, maybe you will start doing something. Go to the gym maybe today, work out the whole day. You will not see anything. It does not mean that there's no change.
Okay.
It's just that you don't see it yet. but there's change. So when people set very big goals, most of the time they get delusionalized about the process it takes to achieve that goal. Let's say in a nation, for example, let's say in this nation, a lot of people have big goals, very big goals. But the methods and the processes that they think about using to achieve those goals are not principle oriented, or they are not based on principle. So someone wants to get rich, for example. Instead of discovering the principles of wealth creation and things like that, they would rather decide to gamble. The gambling is, in a sense, a fast way to get
Rich.
exactly. But that is not actually the process to get rich. It could be a way. People have gotten rich, and statistically, how many people have gotten rich from gambling and have stayed rich after 5 years? But the process is what makes people into the, like, there's this quote, I'm sure you've probably heard it. To have, you must do. To do, you must be. So we first are, then we can do. When we do, we have. So it is who you are. What the process helps you to do is that it builds you. For example, let me use David. I like this story because this story is very important. When God created David, God already knew the destiny for David. So even when he was a child, he was taken aside and he became a shepherd. He started his leadership with sheep, which everyone thought was insignificant.
Yeah.
But that was actually a process, because getting to be with the sheep taught him much about leadership. Now, with respect to what he was about to face in the future, which was Goliath, it was necessary that he faced unconventional things, because what they faced was unconventional. So he fought with bears and lions, and it gave him the experience to face unconventional things. So the day the giant marched and dared Israel to try, nobody tried. Why? Because everyone was so conventional with armors and spears and those things. Even Saul, the Bible says Saul even wore his armor for David. He couldn't even walk in it. He had to let go. And then, why was he able to do what he did? Because God had prepared him through the process for the goal.
Okay.
So it was in the process of him being alone, facing. That was how he was made.
Okay.
So when you have a goal, normally there are some processes that are necessary for you to pass through, which is what we don't want to pass through. That's now when I'm getting to the realistic part. When someone faces a little adversity, they are screaming that, okay, God, why me? Let me ask this question. What's your opinion about when people become Christians? We usually think that because we are Christians, well, life has to look in our face. Okay, you're a Christian, pass. No principles, okay, pass. Do you realize people do that?
I actually think so. I see that a lot. And even with that, just to talk a little bit about that, our model, Jesus Christ, we use, made a certain profound statement in the Bible that even if the master has gone through certain things, it doesn't spare the servant from going through it.
Yes.
Which means that if Jesus actually walked and faced certain things, certainly we are going to face some. So when you get to that junction, they won't tell you that because you're giving your life to Christ, you should pass and go, or we want to be a principle that has been laid down. It doesn't work for us, and I think it's something the Christian folks should really embrace, and even not Christian folks, everybody in general should be able to embrace principles and work along with their goals, their goal achieve. So I think you gave us a very good presentation on how realistic your goal is, and to me, I think that sometimes, like you were ending, some people tend to skip the reality, of the process. I want to ask you this, maybe we can end with this question. How severe should the processes be, and how real should it appear to us for whatever goals we set for us? I always want to make it practical. that in a context where you find yourself in, actually that's what's going on. You find yourself as a leader doing something anywhere, governance, health, anywhere at all, and you set a certain goal to achieve. What's the span? What's the pain? Is there any form of pain, growth process that one has to go through in the course of achieving the goal? I mean, the process is time. Is there anything like that?
Yeah. Is there any process of pain or growth or something like that?
Yeah. Is there anything like pain? Is there anything like
difficult?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think
Well, with respect to the processes, one of the things that leaders must do is to get practical and realistic about the processes that we need. For example, suggesting that the whole nation should pray. You see, there's this problem about flooding in Ghana. Anytime it rains, people don't have places to sleep. When you are suggesting that the whole nation should pray about it, that's a principle, that's a key, but definitely we are abusing that principle because praying about it will not come down and change the thing. Until we get realistic about what it takes to achieve that, we are still going to be left hanging. That's why a lot of things that need changing, people just go inside a room and pray about it. But what you are not doing is that what you should ask yourself is that what are the required principles that I should engage for this particular goal? When you find the required principles that you should engage for a particular goal, you engage it. So one of the principles is work. Work is work. When it needs to be work, it has to be work. Trying to overpray work or pray in substitute for work will not change the fact that it requires work. That's why I said to be very practical. Most of the time, we just think that one of the ways to get around things is to pray. But the first question is what is the required process we have to. So what are the principles behind the thing? So let's say imagine you want to pray that a machine or somehow coffee should fall from heaven so that you can feed the nation with it. Until you start to work and actually start asking what are the processes behind creating this thing, it won't happen.
When you were talking, two things that Bishop Oyedepo said came to my mind. The first one he said is praying without planning
is playing
without doing. So in actual sense, when you pray and you don't plan,
yes,
and then set out goals to achieve them, it's just like you are playing around.
Yeah, you're actually playing around.
And he also made another statement. He says that there is no work done without a man doing work.
Exactly.
So you don't get something done without you trying to do something. You don't fold your arms and think that
just sit down.
The goal will be achieved. It means that you have to be practical.
Leaders must be practical.
Leaders must be practical.
Truthful with themselves about what it takes to achieve goals.
About what it takes
Until we change that mentality of trying to pray everything into being. Work is actually one of the things God gave man. I don't know why in this continent, when someone is working and the person is let's say the person is having a difficulty, then you think that a family member is trying to kill you. Maybe God actually is preparing you.
Yeah.
One of the men I love so much, and I mean I read a lot of biographies. One of the books I like is Abraham Lincoln. Yeah. That man faced a lot of failures.
Yeah. I remember when it was his time there was this war.
Yes.
Yeah.
Faced a lot of failures. He lost an election more than twice.
Yes.
He lost his wife. He lost a business, and he never stopped growing. He never stopped going. In Africa here, our mentality would make you stop because you are thinking that, okay, some witches somewhere are trying to prevent your growth. But no, maybe God is preparing you. God is making you into what it takes to actually face whatever you get ahead.
Just like he cited in the scenario of David.
Yes.
He was actually fighting lions, and little did he know that actually
that was
God
is. Joseph had the same story.
Wow. Thank you so much for your presentation today. Thank you so much. I think it's been amazing. Understanding goals. The part I really love is where you shifted my attention from not just setting goals and achievements, but rather understanding why the goals should be set
Yes.
in the first place. And then the latter part where he spoke about we understanding the realities of the processes. You have to work, you have to make sure that you are putting your hands on board
Yes.
the right way,
Exactly.
following principles,
Exactly.
understanding it to be able to achieve a goal. So you don't say, I want to read 50 books a year.
No,
And then
I want to gain knowledge.
You want to gain knowledge.
Reading is just a process.
Reading is even the process.
Yes.
Yeah, so you don't say you want to gain a particular knowledge in the year and you sit down and think that the knowledge will come to
Or
you.
you pray. Some people want to pray.
So you literally have to sit yourself down, grab the book,
and
and
ask
consume
what
the knowledge.
processes does it take. So you can read to gain knowledge. You can listen to gain knowledge. You can observe to gain knowledge. Just observing nature alone can teach you so much about God. People don't realize.
Yeah.
So
I actually, anywhere I find myself,
yeah.
sometimes I can sit in an environment and I'm observing what is going on. I said, what is this thing trying to talk to me about? It's very true. Observation is a form of knowledge.
And observing and can teach you about organization.
Wow.
One of the two models in nature that teaches organization is bamboo. It has bamboos have a lot of hierarchy.
Yeah.
Ants also have organization.
Wow.
They normally work without leaders, but it even teaches a lot about hard work.
Wow.
So just observing can make you gain knowledge.
Wow.
Solomon used to do that a lot. Observing things and then bringing out philosophical quotes and things like that.
So understanding the processes and practically working it out.
Yes.
Makes goals achievable. Wow. This has been an amazing time, friends, with our guest, Mr. Clifford. I mean, you can just see the kind of insight we have also gotten. And we are adding up to our leadership abilities. You don't want to listen to these things and not practice them.
Yeah.
Even it's part of what we just spoke about. So listen to them, practically put them into action, and you are going to see lots of changes in your leadership life. Thank you for joining us today on Leadership Go with the Brainy Leadership Team. Once again, I'm your host, Michael Brainy, and our guest, Mr. Clifford, was with us today. We are going to see you in the next episode where we are still delving deeper and deeper into leadership. Thank you.